Hey, lovelies. I tried to make this video the other night and I was just too tired. So now I'm more or less wide awake. I got me my delicious cappuccino. Oh. That first couple of sips, you know? Oh, by the way, I made this for my husband a while ago. From one of those stupid companies where you can upload a dog photo and a beloved photo, and they add it to like a historical picture. So that's our dog Homer. He was not so amused. He wasn't delighted by it. Oh well. Anyway, his loss. So I'm in a slightly different corner of my room trying to capture some morning light, and it is time for another dueling deck dialogue. Today I'm going to be looking at hybrid decks that bring together two lineages. The Marseille, which is a pip style deck, right, originating out of the very earliest tarot in places like Lyon and Marseille in France in like the mid 17th century. And then the Waite-Smith deck, which comes out of the Golden Dawn tradition, right? English occult, late 19th century, Arthur Edward Waite, Pamela Colman Smith, right? These are three decks, both bring together those two lineages. And what's completely fascinating for me, the decks do it in slightly different ways, but all basically bring the visual style of the Marseille in with kind of traditional Pamela Colman Smith iconography. So they have sort of faintly medieval or woodblocky feel or color palette. But what's really interesting to me is thinking about the two very different kinds of spiritual, interpretive, psychological, psychical functioning that go into what is required to read a Marseille style deck on the one hand and a sort of Waite-Smith style deck on the other. So the Waite-Smith style deck coming out of Pamela Colman Smith's deeply theatrical imagination. She was a theater artist. She was a set designer as well as an illustrator. It's scenic. It's inviting a kind of mythical, imagistic, symbolic kind of intuitive capacity. In my thinking about the four minor arcana suits, that capacity relates to the watery, relational, spiritual, archetypal energy of the cups, right? That Jung would call that the function of intuition, that ability of us to derive meaning and import from imagery, from archetype, from the heart, from the chambers of the heart, from what resonates within. Now the Marseille deck, and any pip heavy deck, even a playing card deck, invites us to see patterns. It invites us to see abstraction. It invites us to think about number. It invites us to see continuity because we can see pattern. It's not imagistic, although all pip style deck have imagery on them. They all have flourishes. They all have color. They all do well. Most of them have those things, right? But that abstractability relates to the swords, air, thinking capacity of the human psyche, mind and psyche, Mikey. Two great tastes that taste great together. The human psyche, right? That abstractive, Jung would call it the thinking function, the way in which we create meaning through abstraction. In the land of the swords, that's about binary thinking, this versus that, either versus or. So to me, this is kind of really big view. This is very swordsy, abstract view. I hope this is interesting. I've been kind of evolving the way I talk about this over the past week or so. But, pip decks on the one hand, scenic decks on the other hand, swords and cups. We humans need both capacities of our understanding. Both are essential for interpretive work. So hybrid decks, in theory, although I don't think these three hybrid decks really do this task, but in theory, hybrid decks invite us to kind of really harmonize our swordsy abstraction capacity on the one hand and our cupsy archetypal imagistic capacity on the other. Okay, that was a lot of words. Probably not so interesting to some of us. Hopefully interesting to others of us. Thank you for listening. All right, let's move on to a dueling deck dialogue with these 3 decks. Now, the idea with the dueling deck dialogue, I'm prepping for the Drop 'em 78 challenge, which starts October 15th. Info below. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at some of the kind of links there. If you do know what I'm talking about and you too want to join the challenge this year, 2024, I'm inviting folks to register. There's a link to do that. Registering means that you join a mailing list where I'll be sending updates and where I'll be sending you the Zoom link for 2 events, one on October 15th and one on December 31st, inaugurating and closing out the challenge. So with the Drop 'em 78 challenge, the challenge is to close in on a single deck, which is going to be the deck you're working with for 78 days. And to go through that deck one card at a time, one day at a time. And there's a special sort of formatting for posting on the deck. I call it 4D. And I have other videos I talk about that. I'll talk more about it. I invite you again to look at some of the resources below and to join the Mindful Tarot community. But for now, let's just dueling deck dialogue it. Okay, let's just dueling deck dialogue it. In this process, I'm asking the 3 decks I'm focusing on today what they're going to bring to me if I work with them this fall. I'm trying to find the deck that I'm going to go steady with, the deck that will intrigue and tantalize and enliven and also take me where I need to go. So I'm beginning with the 1974 Keishobou, I think that's the date, Keishobou Tarot, which I think, if I'm remembering my research, it's been a little while since I've thought about this, was the first tarot deck entirely designed and printed in Japan. And it is color palette wise and imagery wise, it is super delicious. And it is precisely, it's a hybrid kind of Marseille-Waite Smith. So the cardstock is quite stiff, so it doesn't really like to be riffle shuffled, although I've tried it. It's a fabulous feeling cardstock. It's just quite stiff. Okay, Keishobou. Where do you want to take me? What do you want me to see or to know? How would you guide me this fall? And this is the deck that, 9 of Cups. I love that he's got those 2 cups in the middle, which that are crossed in a kind of Marseille-like batons. Yeah, okay. See, the color palette is quite delightful. The light in this room still isn't, I've been trying to get good light, but it's still not quite right. But this kind of butterscotchy and the teal and the red, it reminds me, if any of you know the Angel Tarot, another Japanese deck, similar vintage. US Games actually distributed it. If I can, I'll plop an image in here. Okay, so you're saying you're going to invite me into the encounter with a kind of fullness of self. This reminds me of the cards that I was looking at that kept coming forward when I was doing the Touchstone and the Golden Tarot, Cat Black's decks, and I kept getting 9 of Coins. So 9 of Cups, similar sense of satisfaction in the self, the wish, that heart space of selfhood, but those 2 crossed cups feel wandsy. So sort of an encounter with that inner world. Is that what you're on about? And you're saying, yeah, there here is. I see how this Marseille, it's kind of combining a Marseille lover card with the, I mean, it's really the Marseille lover card, but yeah. So what does it mean? So, the sense in which this card is about choice, and also notice Cupid's eyes are open. The choice has already been made. So, kind of this wholeness of choosing, of intentionality, finding wholeness in my intentionality. And that idea with the lovers in the Waite Smith, that this is really, there is a kind of harmonizing here of opposites, that way in which the sixes all through tarot are a kind of heaven meets earth, harmonizing of above and below, really this invitation for wholeness. So helping me kind of work with choosing. Is that? Huh. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And I love in this, it's not a falcon, it's a bird that is almost like the holy dove maybe, but that she's looking straight at. So communing with that inner voice. Okay, I think I'm getting a strong picture here. I love this deck. I'm getting a strong picture here. Anything else that I need to know? Oh, I was kind of playing with this deck yesterday when I was trying to, or 2 days ago when I was trying to do my first reading, and I was just too tired, and I got this, the Eight of Wands, which is just like, it's moving forward. I don't need to rush it. Notice how these 8 wands are parallel. They're not going to hit the earth anytime soon, but a kind of sense of things are in motion. And again, I'm thinking about that wandsy cross in the Nine of Cups. Okay, things are in motion. It's okay. It is as it is. Okay, so next deck is, oh shoot, I forgot the name of the artist. I was going to look it up, but this is the Marseille-Waite Tarot, this French deck, which is a fabulous freaking deck. For a while, it was a little bit hard to come by. I got mine by ordering it from Fnac, like directly from France, which, by the way, is a tip that many North American tarot folks don't seem to know about. Like, if you're having a hard time finding a deck because they're not selling it in the States, you can actually order online from... by the way, I just dropped this card, which I'm... Oh, Eight of Swords. Okay. We'll see if that becomes relevant. You can order online from international companies, and it's usually super easy. Or Amazon. You can find the Amazon sites for France or Germany or whatever. From France. You can order directly from France. It tends not, with DHL and other carriers, at least to the States where we don't really have to deal with all the customs, it's not hard. Don't be afraid. And if you don't speak the languages, just do it on Chrome and translate the page. Super easy, folks. Don't be intimidated. Okay. And if I'm telling you what you already know, apologies. Just one girl trying to share a little tarot buying knowledge. I don't know, I'm feeling a little goofy today. Okay, so this is the the Marseille-Waite Tarot, and it's just super delightful. I have a video about this deck. It combines, it's a hybrid deck, again, like the Keishobou, using some Marseille imagery, but also kind of having this, it's as if Pamela Colman Smith was living in, the, 14th century and was doing illuminated manuscripts or something. It's very sweet. So where would you take me? Waite Smith. Marseille-Waite. Where would you want to lead me this fall? Okay. How would you want to guide me? Oh, my Lord. Okay, do we have a theme here? Yeah, so the Nine of Coins. And here, too, the bird and the lady are looking at each other. See how sweet this is? It's just such a sweet deck. I need to I need to read more with this deck. I need to read with this deck with clients. It's so sweet. But here, the bird is hooded, and her eyes are closed too. And it reminds me of that jumper of the Eight of Swords, that there's a kind of blinding. The Eight of Swords, the thing that is often said about the Eight of Swords is, in fact, Arthur Edward Waite says this in his pictorial guide to the tarot. The sense of durance, of bondage, it's not inevitable. There's a way in which it's self-willed. So can we drop the blinders and just be in this garden? Yeah, I'm getting a lot of what it is to settle into the self. And as a Zen practitioner, sometimes what I think my spiritual goal or job is to kind of break through the bonds of self, dissolve ego. And a lot of what I'm getting in these deck dialogues is, no, this fall is actually about really settling into who the self is, into the most immediate sense of my heart and my core. So how would you help me do that, Marseille-Waite? Oh, look at those those two dejected guys. And he looks he doesn't look as cruel as in some depictions of the Five of Swords. Is it like a willingness to encounter conflict, or my own sense of hurting others or conflicting with others, or just being able to accept that inevitable heartbreak of living in a world where we interact with others? I'm not sure I understand that. Who those two figures are, who I'm assuming that I'm the main figure here, and there is something about dealing with the loss of others and my culpability in that. Help me understand this. Okay, there is some adventure here. There is some setting forth. The Two of Wands here reminds me of the Two Cups in the Nine of Cups in the Keishobou. Where am I embarking, and how does this Five of Swords relate to it? Where am I heading out into? What is the adventure here? What is the La Force upside down? I don't read reversals when I do these. Okay. So there's something with strength and vulnerability. Am I going to have to be dealing with ways that I disappoint or hurt others this fall? Is that what finding ways in which I can be true to the self, and but that also means hurting others? And I got a card jumping out, and it, of all the cards to jump out of the deck, so the Knight of Swords. So there's a kind of, I just have to go, and I have to actually discern that path and be willing to go with what I know. But what about these cups and pentacles and that sort of heart, body, self energy? How do I figure out where I need to go? This is reminding me of the Mary Oliver poem, The Journey, which is, like leaving the voices behind and, saving the only life you can save, which is yours. How do I know? I think I already know, maybe, but... Okay, now I'm confused. Seven of Wands, which I associate with sort of the hero's stance. And is it knowing what my ground is, what I'm standing on? Trusting my fire? Is it trusting my fire? And I will know. And that seven energy of the individual setting forth, I will know. Is that what you're saying? Trusting myself to know. Yeah, trusting myself to know, for sure. Oh, that King of Cups. Okay. Whoa. Oh. All right. I like it. And I'm really, the sweetness of this deck. I mean, it's so sweet. I'm going to ask it one more question. You're so sweet. Your imagery is so beautiful. It's so delicious to me. But it feels too sweet for this challenge. And I'm wondering, I feel like I need more bite. wondering what you have to say about that. And you're like, yeah, just, you could just sit in the middle of your kingdom. Just be the king of coins. You got it. Just, you don't need more bite. Just hold on to the big old coin. This is a possible stance to take. I've gotten a lot of big energy here. The king of coins, the knight of swords, the force, the strength card. Yeah. Okay. Last deck. A deck I haven't worked with at all. The color palette doesn't, unlike the delicious color palette of the Keishobou or of the I always get this name. I always stick on it, the Marseille-Waite. This Rosan's color palette here, it doesn't exactly appeal to me, although I really admire his art. So this is when did this deck come out? Last year? 2 years ago? 2023. So this is Alejandro Rosan's Rider Marseille tarot deck. So he did the Tarot des Ambiguïtés for Artisan Tarot, which is a really clever and irreverent and complicated deck using feet and arms and it's got all sorts of stuff in it. This deck is taking that same sort of Marseille sensibility, but really working with the imagery of the Waite Smith. So, okay, Rider Marseille Tarot. I love the backs, by the way. Rider Marseille Tarot with your amalgam of rider imagery or iconography and a powerful Marseille sort of sensibility, woodblock style, uniquely yours. Your voice is so very much yours. Sorry, I've got the title card mixed in here. Okay. I love the font, by the way, with this deck. I love the calligraphy. I mean, all of the production elements are just fabulous. And of course, it's that. Whoops! All the cards went catawampus. It's that fabulous Artisan Tarot, which, fabulous as it is, you probably shouldn't riffle shuffle in the middle and do a bridge in the middle of the air. Unless you want to create a mess. Okay. Apologies to this deck. Okay. One last shuffle. Rider Marseille. How would you work with this energy? How would you guide me this fall? Where would you want to take me? How do you, for you, is it also about finding, kind of settling into the core of the self, standing in that Seven of Wands position of standing my ground, standing tall as myself? Is that what you want me to know? Okay, Ten of Pentacles. So there's something here about legacy and history. Is this about coming to terms with my karma? Is there something of that, of like coming to terms with who I am? I adopted my name Esther in 2020, my Hebrew name. There is a sense there of me like bringing forward and holding the karma of who I am, daughter of 2 Holocaust survivors, who came over from Nazi Germany as little kids and they never resolved their trauma history, and I carry it. Is this about holding that and kind of resting, thinking about the King of Denier in the Marseille-Waite? Is this kind of about resting in that? What about that legacy? Maybe coming into the richness of that legacy. Is that what? Ooh, okay, temperance. There's a, I'm really kind of swayed by Gil Stafford, whose new book has just come out, The Bible and the Tarot. It's really smart. It's really beautiful. If any of you have kind of are working with Christianity, either your own Christianity or that you grew up with, or interested in thinking about the Bible archetypally through the lens of tarot, or the tarot archetypally through the lens of the Bible, Gil's super smart about that. Really learned, really soulful, really wise. Anyway, Gil talks about temperance as he thinks about temperance as the 14th card in the trump, and that it takes it mediates between the 13th card, death, and the 15th card, the devil, and it's like taking death and pouring it into the chaos of the devil. That there's a kind of crucible action here, a willingness to let all the elements come together, recombine, that alchemy, a willingness to hold what is, to dissolve what is, to let it go through the dark night of the soul, to let it go through the darkness and chaos of the devil. And that sense of temperance as the crucible. So allowing something to, living in this space of the temperance card, in that space, that crucible, the alchemical crucible, where opposites combine, where things dissolve and find new harmony. This might be the work of the self, of the not the self with a capital S, not the wise self, the big self, but of ego. The work that ego needs to do. Am I getting it? And you're like, yeah, but there's something joyous here too. There's celebration. There's community. There's the joy of the heart. There's the cup. There's what contains everything. The cups, the heart, and also that sense of the crucible of temperance. It's all about cups pouring and mingling. How are you going to help me find that space of the heart to do this work? Oh. And we come back to the Pentacles. So there's an embodiment here. Look how sweet that card is. Look at the Marseille flourishes in imagery, creating the wreath, that arch at the back and the mountains. So really this invitation into the body, into my embodied sensate function. I'm so head and heart and also fire, but where's the earth element? You're like, yeah, okay, how are you going to help me get in touch with that earthiness? How are you going to manage that? I mean, yeah. You're going to call me into it. It's my calling. It's where I'm going right now, whether I want to go there or not. I have to say, as I'm working with the cards this morning, the palette, which I had felt was a little bit dreary, it's really speaking to me. Okay, what am I missing here? Are you my calling? What am I missing here? Where? Tell me more about you. Oh, deck. Oh, writer Marseille. Tell me more about you. Oop. Okay. No, I had it right side up. Oh. Yeah, you're going right to the heart of things. And Three of Swords. Okay, there's some, I felt this with Alejandra's other deck, that for all of the kind of cleverness and when he talks about his decks, he's just very, he's charming and straightforward and lovely. but I think that there's some real heartache and kind of there's some suffering at the heart of these decks. There's a bite here. There's a deep bite here. There's a strong shadowy element in his decks. And that might be part of what puts me off, is like the shadowy, it's like unsettling. And you're like, yep, it's unsettling. It's gonna decenter you. It's not this. It's not so gentle. Whew. What do you guys think? Yeah. Okay. Dueling deck dialogues. Drop 'em 78. Yeehaw. Okay, my lovelies. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and thank you for watching, and thank you for your practice. And I guess I should occasionally say this: like and subscribe and hit the bell. Although I don't monetize my channel, and I don't think I ever will. I hate that YouTube makes money off of your eyeballs, but I don't particularly want to make money off of your eyeballs. Okay, much love. Bye.